Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Selamat pagi. On behalf of the Faculty of Medicine Universitas Gadjah Mada, let me extend our deepest gratitude and a warm welcome to you all. We are here this morning to attend the Australia-Indonesia Research Seminar Series in Indonesia, which is a collaboration between the Australian Embassy, the Indonesian Academy of Sciences, and the Australian Academy of Science. And hopefully we all could take this terrific opportunity as a forum to learn, to share, and to discuss ideas, knowledge, as well as experiences about the development of science both in Indonesia and Australia. Ladies and gentlemen, as the opening of this seminar, may we kindly invite Distinguished Counselor of Education and Science from the Australian Embassy to give a warm welcome speech. So to Ms. Astrida UPTs, you may have the floor.
Thank you very much. Selamat pagi. Good morning and welcome, ladies and gentlemen and students. It's a pleasure to open the Australia-Indonesia Innovative Research Seminar Series. My name is Astrida UPTs and I am the Atassi Pendidikan dan Sains at the Australian Embassy in Jakarta. It's a great pleasure to join you all here, and I would particularly like to thank the Medical School, Professor Teguh and his staff for hosting this very important event. As the introduction said, we have been working with the Indonesian Academy of Sciences and the Australian Academy of Science to bring this innovative research series to Indonesia. Over the next 10 days, Australian and Indonesian scientists and researchers will be presenting seminars and meeting Indonesian counterparts here in Jakarta, Bogor, Bandung, Makassar, Malang and Yogyakarta. This is an enduring tradition of scientific cooperation between Australia and Indonesia, and I hope this series will further strengthen the connections between Australian researchers and their counterparts in Indonesia as we tackle issues that are of mutual interest and concern to all of us. The Australian Embassy is very proud to support the Research Seminar Series through its art and cultural program. Science diplomacy is an important part of the Australian Government's efforts to increase understanding of internationally contemporary issues and how Australia can contribute. It's also a very important opportunity to nurture people-to-people connections between Indonesians and Australians through science and research. And one of the real benefits of today, I think, with the experts that we have, is to link and understand their research and how this may inform policy to actually help governments do things better in their realm. So for the Embassy, it is this knowledge and understanding the participants have gained about one another and their countries and culture and scientific practices that is one of our most valuable outcomes. This is a big year for the Australian Embassy. The Australia International Cultural Council has selected Indonesia as a focus country. This means there is an expanded program of Australian arts, culture and science and innovation across Indonesia. Now, this project and the other activities planned for the year is an outstanding opportunity for all of us to acknowledge and celebrate our cultural differences and similarities. As with all these programs, I need to acknowledge the sponsors, which I do with great pleasure, because it is in these days to have the opportunity to travel. We very much rely on our sponsors. So I'd like to thank the ANZ Bank, the Australia-Indonesia Institute, and several universities from Australia that have made this possible. Queensland University of Technology, the Curtin University, Deakin University, Flinders University, Macquarie University, University of New South Wales, University of Queensland and the University of Tasmania. Also, the Victorian Government and Ernst & Young have supported this, and I'd like to thank them for that. So, let's get on to the business of the day, and while you're here, I would like to introduce to you our outstanding presenters today. What we will do is I will introduce them. They will each speak for their allocated time, and then Dr. Yanri will moderate questions and answers afterwards. So both will speak on their topics, and then we'll have conversation. So, and the first person I'd like to introduce is Professor Anne Kelso. She's the head of the World Health Organisation's Collaborating Centre for Reference and Research on Influenza at the Victorian Infectious Diseases Reference Laboratory in Victoria, Province of Australia. I will read quite detailed biography because I'm interested, I think you may be interested in the pathways that different researchers take in their careers to see where they've got to. Anne will be talking about influenza. So, in terms of Anne, after obtaining her PhD in immunology at the University of Melbourne, Anne undertook research on cell-mediated immunity at the Swiss Institute for Experimental Cancer Research. Then the Walter and Eliza Hall Institute of Medical Research in Melbourne and the Queensland Institute of Medical Research in Brisbane. From 2000 until 2006, she was also the director of the Australian government-funded Cooperative Research Centre for Vaccine Technology. In 2007, Professor Kelso returned to Melbourne as director of the WHO Collaborating Centre, where she oversees the centre's virological surveillance for the WHO Global Influenza Survey and Response System, and that is part of what she will be talking about today. She also holds an honorary professorial appointment in the Department of Microbiology and Immunology at the University of Melbourne, where she is part of the large research program working on the immunity to influenza viruses. So that's Anne's background, and as I said, we're in extremely expert company today. I'd like to introduce our second speaker, Dr. David Mulyono, who is familiar, as I've gathered, to quite a few of you, and it's a pleasure to have Dr. Mulyono join us. David is the head of the Emerging Infectious Diseases Laboratory at the Eichmann Institute of Molecular Biology in Jakarta. He's a clinician who also works in the area of basic biomedical research. He joined the Eichmann Institute in 1995 as a head of their hepatitis laboratory and has been carrying out basic and translational research in viral hepatitis. Today's topic will be all about hepatitis and the key issues that are emerging for Indonesia. He's also actively involved in international and national activities targeted to public health in the prevention and control of viral hepatitis and emerging diseases. In July 2011, he was awarded the title Academy Professor in Life Science by the Royal Netherlands Academy of Arts and Sciences and the Indonesian Academy of Sciences. In November 2011, Professor Mulyono was inaugurated as the Academy Professor Indonesia in Hasanuddin University Makassar, which is the host university, where he's considered as Guru Besar Luar Biasa, which is a very high honour indeed, as the head expert. He also holds an honorary associate professorial appointment from the Sydney Medical School and is a recipient of the Satya Lancana Karya Satya Medal awarded by the President of Indonesia in recognition for the devotion to society. Professor Mulyono is the current chairman of the National Expert Committee for Viral Hepatitis and has just been appointed as a member of the Strategic and Technical Advisory Committee for Viral Hepatitis, which is an advisory committee to the Director General of the World Health Organization. So I think today we are very honoured to have two highly expert people in their field. So with that, I'd like to ask Professor Kelso to start the sessions. Thank you.
Excuse me.